Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Xpansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's gaming news and we bring it straight to you. We're on episode 52 this week. 52. It's a good number. I'm your host, Denzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my co-hosts each and every week. Starting off with the man to my right here, Mr. Goop Master Flex. What you doing, bro?
You know, same old, stay gooping, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta do it. You gotta do it. All right. And then, of course, we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend at the bottom here.
Hey.
May 25th. Hey. How you doing?
Man, you too much praise, man. I didn't even do shit. I didn't do shit to earn that. Gosh, I would take it. It's a long day, but we're here to talk about some games, good shit to talk about while we're living the lifestyle. Thanks, Scoop.
You already know.
Oh, yeah. Man. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like you said, man, we're here to talk about some games. We definitely got a lot to talk about. Starting off with Grand Theft Auto. We're going to get into a little bit about what's going on there. We're going to give you guys our Battlefield 2042 review. And then we're also going to talk about Xbox's 20th anniversary stream that took place today as of recording. But before we get into all that stuff, you know what we do each and every week. Chris, take it away.
It's getting so chilly. Guys, it's time for a little bit of an icebreaker this week. This week's icebreaker kind of harps back on a little bit of a conversation that we had a couple weeks ago about the metaverse and all this stuff that Facebook's going to be doing. So now my question is, if you could think of a developer who, say this developer got the first, well, not the first, but got their hands on the dev kit for the metaverse, right? They got to make like their first game in the metaverse. Who's the developer that you would pick to actually knock this out of the park? And what game do you see them making? That is the icebreaker.
Okay. You want to start it off?
That was good. Being honest, so excuse me. I put the icebreaker in, right? And I thought about this, and I thought about this, and I thought about this, and I was like, I gotta be real. I think it would be either an up-and-coming dev team or one that hasn't done anything yet, like one that we don't know about yet. I don't think any of the current people who make video games right now would be the first people to make the hitter game in the metaverse. The reason why I say this, right? I think, if you guys saw that episode when we talked about that, it was a very passionate discussion. And one of the things for me was that it was such a jarring change from like the internet as we know it to this new thing, right? I have a feeling, not saying that EA and Activision and all these companies wouldn't be able to come up with a game, but I don't think they would know how to do it first. I offer it. I just can't see them doing that because at that point they're the old heads, right? They're not even the new kid on the block.
Mm.
And I just think that it's gonna take some fresh minds, fresh eyes, and some fresh people that haven't been doing it for as long to see where this wave is going, and then taking it and then kind of running with it. So it's hard for me to sit here and be like, oh yeah, for sure. Rare's gonna come out with a game in the metaverse and it's gonna knock
being Banjo-Kazooie.
Who picked Rare? Damn.
I just picked a random one, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I can't see it.
That was my answer. No. No.
As big as any of these companies could get, it's hard for me to see one of them truly succeeding with it. I even thought about companies like Epic Games and shit, people make Fortnite and all that stuff. And I'm like, because they were really innovative with, what Fortnite was.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of changed the game. But it changed the game, but it didn't change everything. To me, this metaverse shit is going to change everything. And it's like, how do you come up with something that kind of pushes that?
I would argue that Fortnite is its own metaverse, but I do get what you're saying. If you're looking at it from the standpoint of the vision that Zuckerberg laid out when he announced Meta and so on, as far as that goes, what?
because Fortnite's still very confined within the your TV screen and shit. Like this metaverse shit it's going to be embedded within our reality, right? It's like data
Well,
in lifetime.
I think
That's how I took it. At least.
Like his vision of it, yes, absolutely. But also, like, I think the point to remember is that I guess the metaverse is. I think more than anything, the metaverse is really just a rebranding of shit that we already have. It's just like expanding the idea of like interconnectivity and everything. So like instead of it being like games as a service now, it's like the metaverse is a thing. So I think if you're talking about metaverse for like I guess the literal definition of it, we're already there. It already exists. But like if you're looking at it from the standpoint of what Zuckerberg outlined and like a la Ready Player One, yeah, like it's it's definitely a different vibe. I do think that Fortnite would evolve to fit into that metaverse though.
I do too. But first,
well, yeah, I think they could definitely be one of the first. Absolutely, because I think Zuckerberg already mentioned that he's working with Epic Games to kind of like.
So they got an advantage. Okay.
In some respects, but I think like a lot of people are racing to implement the things that we need to, right now it's all about like laying the groundwork to get there like 10 or 5 years from now, right? But I do agree with you though. I don't think it's like I think the thing that the killer app for what if I guess you could say if there is a killer app for the metaverse, I don't think that the people who are making video games right now are going to hit that. I think to me it's very much like like what's the killer app for VR? It's like Beat Saber. And Beat Saber was like made by a brand new studio. Nobody really had ever heard of them before, but they saw like the medium of VR and decided, okay, like we could do something different with this. And like everybody loves that game. So I do think it'll be a similar situation. It'll be some like random indie studio we never heard before that will probably pop that off. But I do have my own answer, but I'm gonna save it for last. Manny, what's your answer on this one?
Like if we live in a time where the metaverse is like a thing, but it hasn't been that first hitter, but we have the technology for it, like like on some Ready Player One type stuff.
Yeah, everything's there.
I feel like I got to give it to Bethesda. I feel like they'll make an amazing world for like a metaverse kind of game. I mean, they made a Wasteland. They made I guess it calls Skyrim like medieval swords and dragons and magic and powers and everything like that. They got that universe as well. And, got the universe of Starfield that's, soon to come out next year. I feel like, with the universes they made, they already have like the perfect outline for like a metaverse kind of world. And not only that, but I'm sure they have great minds to make even a better one that, we'll possibly see in the future. So, if I'm making all my money, I'm sure Microsoft probably, thinking about that too in the mind, especially with the metaverse becoming more mainstream, I would say. So, I'm hoping for like a Fallout Wasteland. So it can be,
bugs.
Without bugs? Are you talking about bugs?
Trust Bethesda to make this game with no bugs.
You know what though? I sorry, man, not to cut you off, but you got to give them the benefit of the doubt now that they got that Microsoft money now. Maybe we less buggy. Let's talk about Bethesda after Starfield. Let's see what kind of bugs Starfield got.
True. Because if that falls flat, man, it's gonna be right in the same boat.
Well,
same boat.
Hold on, wait.
Let's hype for Starfield.
Let's backtrack though, because here's the thing though. You can have a game that hits and still be buggy, right? You know what I mean? Like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, all of those games were buggy as shit. But like they were all hits, So yeah. I guess let's qualify that. But man, you were about to say something?
Bugging like the metaverse version. It's so crazy.
I mean, even with the bugs, you know what I'm saying? Like, like Denzel said, we're all gonna find a way to have a great time. Not all games got to be perfect. I mean, it's the metaverse we're talking about. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of games that are gonna be buggy when they first come out.
There's gonna be a lot of growing pains, but I think it'll be fun. All right, so for me, man, I gotta say, when I think about the metaverse and like specifically the vision that was outlined with like the Ready Player One-esque thing. The thing that I want to see out of like a dev team is immersion, right? So if I think about some of the developers out there that kind of like lead the charge in like immersing a player into a specific experience, I think similar to what Manny says, I would look towards Bethesda's like suite of studios, not Bethesda Softworks though. I would actually have to go with Arcane. I think that the games that they make from Deathloop, Dishonored, so on and so forth, they do a really good job of immersing you into an experience. And I would be like, I just feel like they're very inventive. They make very different creative things and find a way to immerse their players into the worlds that they create. So I would love to see what they would do, with like a metaverse type game, like in VR or AR or whatever it is that they managed to come up with. And then like I have two answers, but like my kind of second one would probably have to be anything that Vince Zampella does. All right, now Vince Zampella is the person who heads up Respawn. He was like one of the original creators of Call of Duty. He created Medal of Honor, so on and so forth. He all the games, like all those games that I just mentioned to you, right? In their early days, like immersion was a very big part of it. Like imagine playing I know Medal of Honor is like coming out in VR on Oculus Quest, like I think next week or this week or something like that. But like imagine playing like Call of Duty 2 or 3, like storming the beaches of Normandy in VR, and like that experience is something that you're doing with a ton of other people, like you are all reliving that moment of like the Battle of Normandy. And so it's like the millions of people, if anybody's ever played a World War II game and ever played like the Battle of Normandy, it's like each one of those people on the beach is another person like in the metaverse. Like imagine that experience, how fucking insane that would be, and like all the immersive capabilities that can come with that. I think those would be like my two, like that would be amazing. I would love to see both of those studios get their hands on the tech and just do something crazy with it.
Interesting.
Definitely dope. Hey man, if only one day we get to our hands in this, and we just gotta wait till that day comes.
Apparently, it's 10 years from now.
Sims in the metaverse.
Hey man, 10 years. I'll wait. We already got a bunch of stuff to play with. What's another 10 gonna do?
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. We do have a lot to play now.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of shit within the next. I mean, we should get GTA 6 at some point within the next 10 years.
Whoa, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Hey, no, he's right. He's right on time, yo. That's a great, Chris. Thank you for that one. That's a perfect segue. I see what you did there. I see you, my boy. So that leads us to our first topic, ladies and gentlemen. Here we got GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, has released this week. I guess technically last week, right? Last Friday, as of this recording. So, we got GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas all lumped into one beautiful little package here. Manny, I know this is your thing. You're the resident like GTA super fan here, so I'm gonna let you take this story and run with it.
All right. Well, unless you've been living under a rock, then you probably heard that GTA Definitive Edition isn't really hitting as it should be. I mean, as compared to by Paul Tassi, a Cyberpunk like launch. Sadly, Grand Theft Auto has been having a lot of bugs with the Definitive Edition. The graphics hasn't been hitting. As we can see, a lot of people are actually making fun of it on Twitter, as well as I've seen some Instagram memes as well. I feel like what ended up happening was they took the recipe and somehow instead of putting the eggs or the milk, they put the water instead and kind of like messed up the cake. So what ended up happening is there's a lot of bugs. A lot of people are saying the game is practically unplayable sometimes. I've experienced actually quite a lot of bugs myself. Like, for example, there'd be missions where I just started and like for some reason I wouldn't be able like to move a car or anything like that. And then there's even this one point where I was about to complete a mission, and what ended up happening was like I needed to like shoot somebody or whatever, some basic GTA missions, and like my weapon wheel wouldn't work, or I wouldn't be able to switch any weapons. I had my fist out and I got gunned down pretty much and stuff like that. So pretty frustrating bugs, honestly. I got to play a handful of Vice City. The game design as well felt weird. I mean, personally, I think the game looks a lot dark, but I'm sure that's probably fixed with like brightness settings on my monitor. I just haven't got to switch that yet. But the rain effects looks pretty horrendous. Like it's pretty much blinding unless you really can go through that. Like the rain literally just like covers the whole screen. You really can't see anything. It's pretty much unplayable in my opinion when it rains. Um, again, it's sad to see. Rockstar even took it out on the Rockstar game launch on the PC. I actually brought it back today as on like 2 p.m. or whatever. But it's sad that like we get the definitive edition, something that we think is gonna make these classic games that were great even better, but somehow make it worse while also taking away those assets that we had of playing the old games by taking them out the stores and everything like that and not being able to buy the game again. And we're stuck with pretty much this definitive piece of trash.
Damn, what a quote there. Yeah, I mean, as Manny very passionately put it, it's not getting a lot of positive reviews or attention or anything along those lines. As a matter of fact, as of right now, it's sitting at a 0.5 user score on Metacritic.
That's didn't even get a 1?
0.5 user score average.
Deserves it.
And that's out of well over 3,000 reviews. So
damn.
People are not happy. People are really not happy. As far as my experience with it, you know, I didn't get the full trilogy. I'm only playing San Andreas, you know, through Game Pass, thankfully. And my experience isn't as dire as Manny's. It's it's okay. You know, like it's for me it's playable. The issue I have is that the game looks more cartoonish than it needs to. Like way more cartoonish than it needs to. Like you dialed up the resolution and all that stuff, and like I guess like some of the colors and like the HDR factor to it, it just makes it look too cartoonish. And like you did like certain things to try to fix like the block hands, like Chris and we were talking about a little bit. It's like, so it's instead of taking these block hands, you did this, but then like they're not individual fingers. You just put like, for those of you who are listening, basically what I'm saying is instead of actually giving them individual fingers, they spread the fingers apart and then put little black spaces in between them to give the illusion of them having fingers, but they're essentially still block hands. And I remember saying this before, like in previous episodes. I didn't think that they were going to be able to fix that situation, because I felt like you would have had to really redo a large portion of the game. And like they literally all they did was just go in and use certain assets to touch up the game. I don't think that they really did much. Basically what I'm getting at is I don't think that this needed to exist. So the fact that you have pulled all the old games out of the stores and then you're selling this for essentially $60 when it didn't need to exist. And again, I want to stress this. You're pulling assets away from GTA 6, right? Like we'd have to assume that you're pulling away development time from GTA 6 to make something that is being compared to Cyberpunk. And I just want to take a second to talk about that, right? Because when I first heard Paul Tassi's, or first read Paul Tassi's review talking about how, like, you know, it's basically like a Cyberpunk-esque launch, I was like, that's not fair. Like, from my experience, I was like, you know, Cyberpunk's probably a little worse. And then I really sat down and thought about it, and I was like, all you're doing is remastering a game. That's all you're doing, right? Cyberpunk literally was creating something brand new from scratch, right? And I think his exact quote in the article was that Cyberpunk 2077 was shooting for the moon and missed, and this GTA Definitive Edition is shooting for the ground and somehow still missed. So like, it makes sense what they're getting at, right? It's like literally all you had to do was take a game that already existed, polish it up a little bit, and then push it out there. So like, and the other thing to me that like blows my mind is we only got this announced like 2 months ago, if that. So it's not like you were on any particular time frame like Cyberpunk where you you made all these promises in the past and was like, all right, like people are getting upset. We have to push it back. Like you could have pushed this back easily. And again, reiterating the fact that this is a remaster of a game that already exists. So like you don't need to do that much to it other than to just up-res graphics and whatnot. I know they said they went in and like redid certain systems. Like the shooting mechanics do feel a little different. Not enough to justify like I don't know. I don't understand this. Doesn't make sense to me. It pisses me off because like now in the community's eyes, you kind of Rockstar's like gotten knocked down a peg, right? And I don't know, man. It's really fucking weird.
I should have known this game wasn't gonna have a good launch when this game didn't have a delay, just like every other Rockstar game. Like,
but it shouldn't have a delay. Never mind.
I know it shouldn't have a delay, but like usually Rockstar like delays games on purpose. Well, not on purpose, but like to basically perfect it. And usually those titles would come out perfect because they usually take their time. But I forgot what studio it was, but I think Rockstar actually bought a studio recently and had them work on this. And I just kind of feel like since maybe they're focusing all their attention on Grand Theft Auto 5, the Definitive Edition, they're probably just like, here's this 3 games. We want you to make it look better, more modern and upgrade the aiming a bit, maybe some weapon wheels in it. And then like they just basically gave them the assets they needed and just didn't care. Because you can't just I have a hard time believing Rockstar would look at this and give it the green light. Especially with their past titles like Red Dead Redemption 2 being an amazing game, as well as Grand Theft Auto 5 and Max Payne 3 and all that stuff.
Literally everything they've ever come out with. Like,
yeah, everything they came out was perfect. I don't understand how they, like I said, they can look at this and think it's good. And it sucks that not only did they pull it out of the storefront, so you're forced to pay it in the $60 paywall, since like the old Definitive Edition or the old trilogy used to just be like $10 per game at the Steam store or PlayStation store. But not only that, but you're also hunting down these modders that would make the game look even better and giving them these massive lawsuits just because they're modding the game better than like the Definitive Edition. So like it's just sad to see how like Rockstar is basically not only like giving us a half-ass game, but like also destroying the community that made basically Grand Theft Auto even more fun and relevant, since Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for 5 years and all people do is like mod it to make it fun, like the role-playing stuff and everything like that.
It's funny you mentioned the modding thing, right? Because I feel like we were talking about this on Xbox over the weekend, but it's like why you literally could have just taken like one of the mods that existed or something like that, or made your own mod of the game. And like
hire a modder,
like hire a modder and let them polish up the game, because people make mods. Like I know this isn't the game that we're talking about, but like I remember seeing a GTA 5 mod. Oh my god! Like if I can find the footage, I probably won't be able to find it. But if I can find the footage, I'll insert it in here. But I remember there's this one mod, and like I think they at least gave you the illusion of like ray tracing and stuff, and like
I seen that. Yeah.
Oh my god, it was fantastic, bro.
It's beautiful.
And I'm like, I know that there are like San Andreas and Vice City mods that aren't necessarily like on that par because it's a more modern game and all that stuff, but like do similar things in the sense of making it look pretty and all that other stuff and not cartoony. Like why couldn't you have done that? Like I just wonder. I'm sure there's some sort of technical reason, or maybe it was just that I didn't know that piece about Rockstar hiring a different company to do this. So I mean, there's a good chance that what I said about them taking away assets from GTA 6 probably isn't true if that's the case. But still, like was there no oversight? Like, are you like the parent company, like Rockstar North and so on? Like, are you not paying attention to that type of stuff? I just really wonder what went wrong there. It's really interesting to me. But Chris, I know you didn't necessarily get a chance to play this stuff, but I still want to get your opinion on this.
I downloaded San Andreas. I just haven't touched it yet. I finally, I think I finished downloading last night at some point. I don't understand, y'all. Like, I'm gonna be 100% real. Like I've been saying the last few whole 2 Virgils out here, man. It don't make no sense because. And I'm gonna regurgitate a lot of what you guys have already said, but like, this didn't seem like it was a hard thing to do. Like, this should not have been a hard thing to do. This should have been an easy, little, low effort thing that you guys did to make a little bit of extra money and to keep people a little bit happy until the next thing comes out. This is all this had to be. I don't understand how you take games that are so old, so well respected, so Like people love those games, all three of them. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't get it. Like that thing that Paul Tassi said about shooting at the ground and missing. That is hilarious and also extremely true because there's so much ground. like, how did you miss? This makes literally no sense. The only thing I can say is that I guess they were due for a fuck up at some point, right? Like it had to happen at some point. And if it was gonna happen with anything that they were doing, I guess I would have preferred it to be on the remaster of whatever the games were, right? It's better for it to be this way than GTA 6 to come out and then that be on some Cyberpunk level shit, because that will really cook them.
That would crush me. That would crush me.
Yes. That this is even saying that like the Rockstar dropped the peg in the community's eyes. I know they're gonna fix this because they have that kind of integrity. I don't know how it got greenlit to begin with, but I know they're gonna fix it. I know they're gonna make it right. And I know because of it, they're probably going to even put extra eyes on GTA 6 just to make sure it really, really is going through a thorough process in terms of being made correctly. But I think they were due for a fuck up at some point, man. And there's a big part of me that's like, even though this is a horrible thing and I think this is unexcusable, I kind of want to give them a pass because they've had such a good run. Like all these years, it's just like, it's different with CD Projekt Red because they're still kind of trying to build their empire, right? Rockstar is an empire. Like there is no debate. Like that is an empire, a whole empire. I mean, so if they fuck up once or twice here and there, especially after everything they've done, it's like I have enough faith in them to right the ship. And again, it's not like they fucked up with a brand new title. They fucked up with some older shit. But even though me saying that makes it still so bad.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's what makes it worse.
It's still bad. Don't get me wrong.
I think
worse.
I definitely have to agree. Like we definitely, we're gonna give them a pass, right? Like it just makes sense. Yeah. It's a very low level thing that they fucked up on. Like like this wasn't something that people were anticipating, right? There really wasn't a lot of hype around it. Especially in comparison to Cyberpunk, which was hyped up for like a good fucking 4 or 5 years or whatever. But it was just it's like an easy layup. It's just missing a layup. That's what they did. They just
it was a bunny.
Yeah,
it was a bunny.
Just missed a layup,
rim, bro.
Hopefully, with this, it'll be a wake up call to maybe make the definitive edition of GTA 5 a little better than what we saw in the trailer.
How about we just don't do a definitive edition? How about that?
No, I mean, at this point, it's already coming. So we got to take what we got.
I know.
So I'm hoping they look at this and be like, yo, we can't just do this with GTA 5 or else we're going to get shit on again. So hopefully, we see some improvements.
Skip over 4? They're not going to do Nico and them?
Well, they're doing GTA 5 for next-gen consoles just because, like, GTA 5 is still their moneymaker, essentially, to this day.
It's just the next-gen upgrade, basically. But they're calling it the definitive edition.
I hope they don't mess up GTA 4. GTA 4 is probably, was easily my personal favorite and probably, in my opinion, the best Grand Theft Auto out of all of them. So,
it's very funny. That game is hilarious, bro.
That game was a true game changer.
That game is hilarious, bro. Like, the characters in that game are great, man. They're really good.
They better not mess up. If they do, then I can never forgive Rockstar for that.
But that's what I mean. If they do something big,
Well, before we move on to the next thing, though, I do want to say one thing about like my time with GTA San Andreas, like diving back in there. For all like the things that I outlined that I don't like about it, like the characters and the story and like the core gameplay, I still feel like hold up very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I didn't touch it, and I know it did.
Great story.
I got like at least like a good 10, 15 missions deep. And I'm like, bro, this shit is hilarious. Like, this shit is great. Everything about this, like rolling with CJ and Sweet and Big Smoke and so on. Like, just like, this still feels good. It's just like you could get past some of the bugs and all those different things. It's like, this is still like a classic game. And it makes me like, I'm not going to shell out the money, but it makes me want to try Vice City and GTA 3 again.
I love Vice City. Oof.
Yeah, Vice City is really good too.
I beat that.
But I used
to just beat it last night, and like I love just like the whole story of Vice City of you basically building your own criminal empire. I hope we kind of get something like that in GTA 6. Like we'll build our own criminal empire. We'll actually up to date graphics and stuff like that. But just like the whole story, the way everything was built up, that's definitely one of my favorites.
You ain't gotta wait that long, yo. You can play Saints Row.
I can't wait to play
Build
Saints
that
Row.
empire up.
Oh my goodness, yo! Saints Row is definitely gonna hit, bro. February can't come any faster.
Yeah, that is fastly approaching. Absolutely, man.
All right, well, guys, let's. I guess we got kind of the negative news out of the way, potentially.
Get it out of here.
Yeah, but let's move on to the next topic here. So, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, Battlefield 2042 came out this past week. For those of you who got early access, you were able to play starting last Friday, and I think it's officially coming out on Tuesday, which should be today if you're listening to it as
Friday.
of the day. Really?
It's Friday.
Yeah, I thought it was Friday too.
November 19th.
You're right. It's the 19th.
Yeah.
Damn, so we got a whole week? Okay.
Well, 4 days.
No, a whole week.
Oh,
we got a whole week, like
Friday, to
like
Friday.
early access.
Oh,
we got,
from the access. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Early access. We got a whole week. So okay, yeah, damn, that's pretty cool. Makes me feel like I was justified in spending my extra money to get that gold edition or whatever. So dope. Anyways, it's largely getting pretty good reception, around the community. I know there's a couple people who have a couple problems with some of the bugs, and like I know some people have mentioned that the game doesn't feel complete yet. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can see their point of view in that regard. Personally, for me, this is something I've really needed, man. I've been a huge Battlefield fan since back in 1942. There was another one that came out, I think, since Battlefield 2, I should say. Since Battlefield 2, I've been playing that game and loving it, through Battlefield 3, through Bad Company, 1942, like all the different iterations of the game, even 5 and actually 1. Battlefield 1 is one that I could definitely, like, they could scratch that off. Like, I hated that game. We don't need to go to World War One. We don't need to go that far back. I'm good. But yeah, all the other ones, I've really loved them. I've loved the idea of like the large scale battle, like you being in your individual squad. Your squad can determine like what objective you want to tackle or what thing in particular you want to do. Like if there's a big ass like helicopter or AC-130 that's like terrorizing the map, like you and your team could focus on taking that thing out. So the rest of the team can capture objectives or whatever what have you. And I just always loved the large scale feel of the game. So for me, this has been like an absolute dub, this 2042. I'm loving all the different aspects of it. The grappling hook, the wingsuit. Oh my God, do not get me started on the wingsuit. That operator is amazing. The fact that she has like all these different grenades that I could. My favorite thing is to fucking wingsuit in on something. And like if there's like a helicopter or like a tank in the air, or sorry, a helicopter in the air or a tank on the ground, because tanks don't fly. You could pull out like the anti-armor grenade and like toss it in the air and it locks onto something and like blows it up. I just have so much fucking fun with that type of shit. It's just makes me feel so good. So yeah, I mean, with that being said, my experience with this has been extremely positive. Manny, I'm gonna start off with you, man. I want to get your take on this. I know we've been playing this together for a good part of the weekend. So, what do you think about Battlefield so far?
I hate it.
Cap.
No, it's not. It was dope. I really like it. It's finally, about time since we actually got a modern day, big, massive war game like Battlefield 2042. The last modern combat Battlefield was Battlefield 4, of course, that came out for the last gen console. Yeah, I agree. This is definitely a huge dub, especially now since the first-person shooter era of gaming kind of seems a little dry. Well, actually, until today. But
Yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty Vanguard. A lot of people. I mean, people at first saying the game good, but they're capping because they're getting that Call of Duty hype. But once you get to the reality of Call of Duty, like the game is pretty much bare minimum. All you get is like you're playing campaign, which I heard was bad. The zombies mode, I heard they like switched up some things, which made it even bad as well. And how could you mess up zombies, honestly? But and the multiplayer is like pretty bare bones. You got your basic modes, and pretty much people are just playing at this point just to upgrade their weapons for Warzone, which is like, what's the point of shelling $60 or $70 for a game when that's all you're doing? So, I mean, this is definitely a dub for Battlefield. A lot of people are enjoying it. The massive open world combat, buildings, well, actually, buildings. I haven't seen a building fall yet, sadly. But I mean, but the storm effects is pretty dope though. Like the hurricanes, sandstorms that you see. I love the maps. The maps are massive. The only one I'm getting tired of is probably like the map with the border in the middle, because like I feel like the first day we played, we got that map like 10 times in a row, and it was just like, all right, I got it. But yeah, dope game modes. The only thing I'm upset about is, even though like we do have the traditional conquest, and I think it's like breakthrough, which is basically rush, and the hazard zone, kind of upset that like we don't have like our little like smaller combats, like just like take a break of the bigger ones. Like if you just want to do like a quick death match or stuff like that. I remember they had like a gun game mode, and like,
Actually, just real quick, before you make that point, did you try Battlefield Portal yet? Because I actually dove into that, and it does have some like smaller scale war stuff.
See, I haven't touched Portal, so look at me, I'm getting ahead of myself. But other than that, I mean, another thing that was actually disappointing was, and I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like I feel like the gun list was pretty bare though. That's the only thing I have. There was only 2 LMGs, I think, and I'm a big LMG guy. I love LMG. I used to rock with the gun, the LWS, I think, that looked like the Patriot from Metal Gear
Oh, I
Solid
know what
3.
you're talking about. Yep, I know what
So
you're talking
like,
about.
you know, it's sad to see that they have like a little bit of guns, but I'm sure, you know, future updates they'll probably bring more in. But at the moment right now, it's pretty bare with that. That's the only thing. That's the only complaint I have.
I could definitely agree with you. Here's the one thing that I think is part of the problem. They have Battlefield Bad Company guns, I think Battlefield 3 guns, Battlefield 4 guns, but they're in Portal and they're not in the Warfare or the Hazard Zone modes. And I don't know if that's something that they could like, you know, pop up in there, or like what the plan is, but I would have to believe that they are planning on adding more guns to like the 2042 world, because yeah, I agree. It's bare bones for sure. All right, but yeah, Chris, this is your first Battlefield. I know. Did you get a chance to play it?
Yeah, I played a couple games.
Okay.
I didn't get to experience the storm or anything like that, but excuse me. But I did play a couple games. You know what I'm saying? The movement and all that stuff is very fluid, even though I have to like remember there's not like a slide. So like my first time playing, I'm running and I'm like, all right, let me run slide. I'm so used to doing that like all these other games. And then he went prone, and I was like, are you not sliding? So I tried to do it a couple more times. I was like, all right, it doesn't do it like I want to do it. That's cool. I got to get used to that. But yeah, it's very, very fluid. I think my main complaints are more the respawns. I don't like the whole animation when you're dying, and then you kind of like have to wait a couple seconds, and then you can choose what part of the map you want to go to, or unless there's a way to skip it. And I don't know how to do it yet, but I don't know. That just gets really annoying to me after a while. When it's like you get shot, and you're like, you gotta watch the whole thing, and I don't like it. I like.
Are you talking about like when you're
your-
down and waiting to get revived?
Well, no. Well, yeah, you could choose to get revived if you want to, or you could choose to just pick a different spot on the map to res, right? That's usually the 2 options I see.
Yeah.
But it's not like an instant thing. It's usually like you get shot or whatever, and then
Yeah, I know what you're
you
saying.
have to like wait a couple seconds before you can choose it. I don't know why. For me, it throws me off a little bit, because especially if I got killed in a way that I didn't like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Get pissed off. You want to get back in?
Yeah, it's like I want to quick, and then I don't know. It's kind of like derails me for a quick second. I wish that was like a setting or whatever that they could just like let you just take out, or because that's like a minute thing. I don't know if I'm the only person out there feeling that, but that kind of annoyed me slightly. And
so you're saying you want to skip like the like down and chance
like
to
yeah,
get
take out
thing?
those whole 3 seconds thing. Well, I want to get revived if there's a chance to do it, but I just think it should be instantaneous. I don't need to see the whole my guy getting shot and crippling to the ground and all that stuff. I don't need that.
I know what you're talking about. Like, you know how you die and like the camera pans at the person that killed you?
Right, yeah. I can skip that every single time. It's one of those things I do not need.
He's like, yeah, he killed you.
So like, yeah, in other games, I don't know, it's like a bad habit that's like in me to kind of like mash the button to hurry up and res myself and get back in. And like Goop, I was talking to Denzel earlier. Do you know that game mode that's in COD headquarters?
Yeah.
The one where you die and you're sitting there waiting. I hate that game mode. It gets on my nerves so bad because it's like it's worse than the Battlefield thing. Because you literally got to sit there and just wait for the whole thing to end, and then you get thrown back in. It is easily the worst game mode in COD. I hate it. I don't like anything that makes me wait like that, bro.
favorite, honestly.
Are you serious?
I used to smack in that game.
I like headquarters, but I didn't care for the
I don't like that aspect, man. I hate that part.
With the spawn timer, then I don't know if you're going like Halo because there's a spawn timer in that too.
In every game type, or
I don't feel like it's that. I feel like the spawn timer in Halo is really not that different from Destiny, so I don't think he'd be bothered by it that much.
Is it like how it is in Splitgate, or is it different than that?
I don't remember how it is in Splitgate, to be honest.
I haven't touched
Splitgate's pretty instant. It's not like a big wait. It's better than Battlefields, if you ask me. But
I mean, it's nothing like Battlefields. Battlefield is set up the way it's set up for a reason, right? It's like, okay, you pick. Well, let me rephrase that. The like extra part where there's like 3 seconds of you like seeing a person. I don't understand what the design decision is there, other than to, I guess, feel like you've been fucking humiliated, because that's really what it feels like the purpose of it is for. But like the rest of the experience around, like, okay, like you're down, you're waiting for somebody to revive you, and then once you decide, like, okay, I'm just gonna die and respawn, like you have to choose where you go. That's like a deliberate thing. That's like a core element of Battlefield, right? But like Halo's nothing like that. It's just like you just wait a couple seconds and then you respawn. So I don't think you're gonna have a huge problem with it. But you know, it's funny though, because like when you brought that up, I never like at no point I've in all my years of playing Battlefield, like I never thought of that as being like a thing that anyone would either like or not like. It was just like, this is Battlefield. This is just the way it is, you know? So it was like crazy when you said it to me the other day, and I'm like, oh shit, like that is different, huh? Like it's just always been a part of Battlefield. It's weird to me to think about it that way, but like in a sense, like that, it's something that I also love about that game. Is like there was a scenario, Manny, when we were playing yesterday. I think it was that night map with like all the shipping containers and shit, and I think Isaiah was like on the top of, I don't even know what it, like a crane or something like that.
Oh, crane. Oh yeah, the crane. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like he was up on top of the crane, and then we kept respawning on him. And I was like when Chris mentioned that to me, I was like, that couldn't exist in any other game if you didn't have that mechanic. And at that moment was so fucking dope, because Isaiah was just up there, sniping people, and then I like jumped down and like swoop in with my wingsuit. I'd get a kill or two, and then I would die because that spot was like so hot. But then I just respawned back on Isaiah, jumped back in, and did the same thing over and over again. And I don't know, I love that aspect of the game. Like that stuff is cool. It's like you die, and then it's like as soon as you die, you're formulating a plan in your mind of like, what the fuck am I gonna go do next? Like, okay, is my team still alive in that area? If I died by a tank, it's like, okay, if my team's still alive in that area, I'm gonna make sure I have an RPG out. I'm gonna make sure I have my grenades out. I'm gonna respawn, and I'm gonna go fuck that thing up. You know, like there's always like a plan that you formulate. And I think, and that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to play the game with you, Chris, because like I also think that playing it with a squad is like it's like a whole different experience with like every other game. But like in this game in particular, like running in as a squad is just fucking amazing. I'm having such a good time with the game, man. Like thinking back to like some of the things that was happening the other day, like my thing is like blowing up fucking helicopters. Like I just love doing that so much, and like I'm so relentless with it. Actually, to the point where I don't like that hazard zone mode as much, because there are no helicopters to blow up. It's so ridiculous, but like there'll be moments, man, where like I think I have a clip of it, so I might throw it in here if anything. But there was this one moment where it was a helicopter like flying around the area that we were in, and then like it flew and it saw that I locked on, and it shot out its little flares and then went down. And I was like, nah, you're not getting away from me. And so I like ran to the other side, and then he came back up, and I was like, all right, bet. Locked on, hit him with one. I was like, how did he not blow up? Ran all the way to the other side. And I was like, I'm gonna get you, bro. And sure enough, Like I locked on, wow, fucking. I think it killed like either 2 or 3 people or something like that. But moments like that, man, it's just like those Battlefield experiences are so fun. And then, like, we didn't even get into the like the storms and all that type of stuff that happens. That shit is dope. Like, I think Manny, you and I were in the game when we first, not when we first saw the tornado, but there was a moment with the tornado we were trying to figure out how we could like wingsuit in.
Yeah,
Bro,
that was fun.
when I tell you, and like the wingsuit is so fun to activate. It's easy to activate, so you don't even have to be that high off the ground. So like we're in the thick of the storm, and I'm just like jump up on a little platform and I jump off and I like take the wingsuit out, and that shit said, it just like took me. It was just like, like I just kept going around and around. I didn't know exactly how to get out of it, but like there was a moment that passed where I just kind of like came out of the hurricane and I could like fly wherever it is that I wanted. Man, listen, that is so goddamn fun. Like,
It's dope, man.
it's so dope. It's so dope.
But try that.
Yeah, you really do, man. That is an experience and a half. But yeah, Manny, you know, I know you talked about a couple other things, but like I want to get your take on the hazard mode. It's like, you know, we've covered it before, so it's like kind of the closest thing that we're getting to like a battle royale type of thing. You know, what do you think about the mode? You know, would you prefer a battle royale mode? Do you like the way that they implemented this? What do you think?
It's definitely is a good take because, you know, every battle royale has basically been the same formula. You drop in, get your loot, and do your thing. Hazard zone, you just pretty much drop in random spots that the game picks for you, and it'll tell you these zones that you got to pick up the data drives. You go in, pick up your drives, and leave and extract. You got 2 extraction times, and it sounds simple, but it ain't. But I actually like the idea. There's some things I do wish that can be changed, but I'll start off with the good, of course. You know, I do like the mix of like the PvP VE type of thing where you're facing these AIs and real people because you kind of use that to your advantage. It could be a little annoying at times, but like overall, it's like a good way to like farm for more cash because you kind of need cash to get better weapons for the start. I do like the, you know, the weapon systems that you buy your weapons, you buy your loot. You can buy like a revive station or whatever for your boys for when they die and all that kind of stuff before the game to prepare yourself. That's pretty dope as well. One thing that, you know, could be fixed, those AIs with those trucks, man. They I don't know if they really AIs or they like devs playing with us because they be too good sometimes. Bro, they be rolling up with the truck, gunning us down. I'm like, yo, they don't miss. They don't miss.
I definitely thought that one time that they were real, and then y'all were like, "Nah, they're bots." I'm like, "Bruh." What?
Yeah, and I saw AI over there, and I was like, "Ain't no way these are bots." Yeah. But like a couple things I do wish they had. Probably starters. I kind of wish that maybe they added like a duos, solos kind of thing because having to be tied down to a 4-player squad just to play the mode is kind of bad, especially when you have like that one trash like third or whatever.
Fourth, you mean?
Yeah, you're right. I think that's probably actually it. You know, other than that, I'm actually enjoying the mode. There's not really like anything to really say bad about it, except for like maybe that aspect of having solos or duos. But other than that, it's pretty dope. Additional game mode, the first take on this kind of mode, I think, that we've seen so far until we get like the Ghost Recon version. But you know, I'll say it's a nice little dub.
I'd agree.
Change your pace, you know.
Definitely a big time change of pace, and even within the mode, that like so many things can change in any given moment. Like when you're playing Conquest, right? Like the main Battlefield mode, like it's pretty much all go 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 go. Like you're rushing to get every objective and like, you know, seize control of this location, seize control of that location. Hazard Zone is definitely can be a much quieter thing because you're really just trying to like focus on getting the data drives. Like you get like a scanner as a default to find where all the drives are. When you get to certain locations, there are like bots everywhere that you normally would have to kill, but you're also racing to get there before other players. So sometimes there's some really intense standoffs, and especially with the extraction points, those moments can be absolutely insane. Like Manny, you were there. The very first time we played that mode, yeah, you were definitely there because you took my freaking operator and I was pissed. Anyways, remember we went into the elevator and then we got to the top floor and like we didn't know. So again, very first time playing the mode, had no idea what was going on. Generally, when you get to an extraction point, there are bots there in addition to potentially also being like real players there. So we open the door and it's just players. I still don't remember if it was AI or players. It was probably a combination of both.
They had to be real because you're already camping there.
Bro, but like dudes were just camped up there. We were like stuck in this elevator shaft and we were just blasting, bro. And somehow we made it out. I don't understand how. We were like, oh shit, like doors open. And it was just like it was like, you know, Metal Gear Solid where you see the little like exclamation point over their heads. It's like, like, oh shit, like, and they all turn and everybody's like, oh, and we're all just like shooting. And like, I still don't understand how we made it out of there, but we did. We got on the helicopter and then we made it out and extracted our drives. But that was like one hell of an experience for like it being the very first time to play that mode. It was just really, really cool to experience that and see how it all plays out. So yeah, I would have to say Battlefield overall a big dub.
I gotta play more.
Yeah, man, we definitely do. We definitely do.
It's liking, man.
Yeah, that's all right though. There's plenty of time for that. There's a lot to play, man. There's a lot to play. So
Saturday, man.
Well, you know, guys, there's even more to play now. You know, bringing us to our final topic here, you know, the Xbox 20th anniversary celebration was today, as of this recording. Microsoft, you know, hit us with a pretty quick, I would say like 30-minute event, you know, where they kind of celebrated the history of Xbox. They gave us a couple cool little things. Like I think that one of the first things that I remember was that they announced a documentary that's coming out. Manny, you're gonna have to help me on the name. I want to say it's like Power On or something like that.
I forgot what the name was called, but like it's a nice little 6-part documentary that I definitely will be, you know, watching because it definitely did look interesting where you're showing like basically how it all started and all these people coming in offices and, you know, bothering meetings and everything like that just to shut out this idea. So like, you know, I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's called Power On: The Story of Xbox. So it's gonna debut on December 13th. It's gonna be on YouTube and literally a bajillion other places like Redbox and Roku and so on and so forth. So like
Redbox.
Yeah, I know, really random, but like they're really trying to get it out there. I mean, it seems like a really cool ass story. Like literally from the inception of the Xbox all the way up to the Xbox Series X and where we are now. And like, you know, Phil Spencer is pretty straight up in saying like it's not like a celebration necessarily, right? Like of all triumph. It's like they really get into it. Like even, you know, he alluded to the fact that even the dark days of like the Xbox One and where that all came from and Don Matrick and all that stuff, like the TV days that pretty much kind of held Xbox back significantly. Like they're going to get into all that stuff. And I for one, I'm very, very excited to see it. Very curious to see how, you know, they depict a lot of the things, that go on with Xbox, but you know, that's one aspect of it. But we got a couple other big ones. First thing is backwards compatibility. They're increasing that pretty significantly. So we're getting 70 new games, all of which are going to be getting auto HDR. Some of which are going to get the FPS boost. I think all of them are getting resolution boost as well. So like up to a 4 times boost on Series X and a 3 times boost on Series S. So like pretty big games. I think all the Max Payne series will be discussed. What else, Manny? What else we got on there?
The Fear franchise, I believe, like the 4 games they had. You gotta have Skate, you know what I'm saying? Skate 2. That I was excited for that because Skate 2 is my personal favorite. But they only had 1 and 3 get backwards combat, but it's a huge dub in my opinion. They got, you know, Chris's favorite Manhunt.
Yeah.
Spoken into existence, baby.
Also Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9, I'm excited because like that was my personal favorite.
Yeah. A lot of big stuff. Even like some of the Star Wars games, Star Wars Jedi Knights 2.
Oh.
SpongeBob.
Is Marvel vs. Capcom on there?
No. I know.
Damn.
You gotta speak of more so it comes to existence.
that would have been one of my first. I would have said that off rip. Marvel vs. Capcom.
That upres too. Oh my god, I've been here for that.
I really, really, really think I really deeply believe they're going to remaster that game for like next gen. I really, really think they are.
I hope so, man. But I don't want it to be new. Just do it how it was with new graphics. That's it. Same amount of characters and everything. I want that big ass world globe thing. Even the music. Bring the music back. I'm gonna take you for a ride. I want all that. All that. All that.
I do too, man. So many people do as well. So like I think that's like money that Capcom's sitting on, bro. Don't be like Capcom. Don't be like Rockstar. Don't fuck this up, okay? Don't fumble the bag. Just keep it real simple. Up-res the graphics. Give us like 120 frames. That'd be pretty cool. And then just give us the game that you already had, you know? Just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. All right?
I need every character that was there before in this one. All of them. Blackheart, Silver Samurai. We need all the shitty characters, all of them. All of them. Arthur, we need all of them. All of them. You do not take not one character out of this game and sell it for DLC or on a season pass or nothing like that. You make the game right.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, though, that's probably the only like problem with them making this is like, I wonder if there are licensing issues with getting all those characters.
True.
Probably now.
Spider-Man and all that stuff. Like Sony owns that. So.
There was like 2 different versions of Wolverine in that game. There's a lot of characters in that shit, bro. Like
I think X-32 was
a lot. Yep.
If I were to guess the problem, it would end up being like the Spider-Man characters and whether or not Sony would be willing to make that kind of deal. Because that's almost always the problem, right? Like it's always Sony almost fucked up the MCU, like
nobody, bro, ever.
Yeah. They play hard to get.
And I need Spider-Man because he's top 5 in that game.
Oh,
bro.
facts.
Like there's no fastest player in the game. I need Spider-Man.
Facts. You can't not have him. He's such an important element of that shit.
Yeah. Like when he do that thing, he go in the corner and he be like Maximum Spider. It's done. It's done, bro. It's done. You're done.
Classic. Oh man, Capcom, please come on now. We speaking it into existence here, bro. Let's manifest that right now.
Got it.
I'm here for it. But yeah, moving on. So outside of all the backwards compatibility stuff, which was actually pretty awesome. There's actually some rumors that this may be like the end of the backwards compatibility program. They didn't confirm anything, so like this is all hearsay at this point. But there's some rumors that this was kind of their last ditch effort, and that they're going to be focusing on some more like fan requested features like for the Xbox, which would be cool. I mean, as long as like that team has done such a good job with that program, like obviously like all those features that we talked about, auto HDR, the FPS boost and all that stuff, like to be able to have brought that to hundreds and hundreds of games, like old games, and preserving those old games, absolutely amazing. So like that team, like hats off to them. I would love to see whatever it is that they're working on next within the Xbox ecosystem, because it's going to be a big deal for sure. But yeah,
too.
Oh God.
He said, "Oh God."
I mean, as long as if that encompasses some way into this metaverse, I'm cool with it. You know what? Now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they want to go work on. It's something to do with the metaverse. We need to put that word down for a little bit, man. I feel like Zuckerberg got us fucked up. We're talking about that shit way too much now.
Check.
Shit. For real. But yeah, the next thing we got is some Halo news. A little bit of Halo news. Starting off with the Halo TV show. So that's apparently going to be on Paramount Plus. So just another streaming service for you to go and jump on.
Take my money.
But I gotta say, man, the first it was very like quick teaser. We saw someone's back. We saw I think it was Chief put on a helmet or something like that, if I remember correctly. But it was all like quick teasers basically. But from what they saw so far, the tone that they struck with that little teaser, I'm pretty excited about. I can't wait to see more. They've pretty much said flat out it's going to be coming in 2022. We don't know if it's at the beginning or the end of it, but I'll take it when it comes out. We about to watch it. We're going to be talking about it here. So
absolutely
stay tuned for that. But the thing that everybody really wants to talk about here, Microsoft 343
up.
They
No,
really
it's-
came out here and just shadow dropped Halo Infinite multiplayer, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as of right now, you could download Halo Infinite. They're calling it a beta, but it's it's the game. It's the multiplayer. It's the full multiplayer. You know, all the maps that's supposed to be available at launch. You can get the battle pass, all that stuff. The game's out, ladies and gentlemen. And if you remember correctly, and if I can find it, I'm pulling the clip up right here. I said it here on this podcast. I said it would make the most sense to release the game on the 20th anniversary of Halo and Xbox. And sure enough, they were listening. Another one of those moments where, your boy, manifested some shit. Just, I'm gonna take the credit. Whatever.
It's about they ain't fully released it, man.
I know.
Campaign.
I know, yeah. If they had dropped the campaign, if they had completely dropped the whole thing, oh my god, it would be a whole different story. But
wild.
Yeah. But I think it's smart that they did it the way they did it because obviously you drummed up hella hype. Like Twitter was going crazy. Steam was basically down because like people were saying they were having a hard time downloading the game through Steam. Fucking the Xbox servers were probably cramped up a little bit because they were out here. They still got their 4 million players on Forza, plus all these people trying to get Halo. Like, I really want to see what the numbers look like for Halo because this is going to be crazy. But it's smart to do it this way because you slap a beta tag on it, so there's no pressure necessarily, right? People aren't expecting it to be like fully done and cooked in the same way that you would expect it to be in December. And you give it time for like your servers to catch up too, right? So it's like, all right, people are slowly going to be buying or downloading it. And like, it's not going to, so far, Manny and I've been playing it all afternoon and it's been buttery smooth. Things have been going very well. Outside of the downloads, like being a little bit slower than usual, everything else has been like picture perfect. So it's a good idea to do it this way. You've basically already stress test your servers previously with some of the technical tests, but releasing it this way, you give yourself some time. Like, I just feel like it's such a smart way to do it. You drummed up the hype. You've also given yourself some time. And you made like a really great product. So, again, hats off to Microsoft. They really crushed this. We didn't get like a ton of news from this Xbox 20th anniversary event, but like we got enough, like we were celebrating Xbox, and obviously Halo is very synonymous with Xbox. They even said it straight up. It's like there would be no Xbox without Halo and probably vice versa. So, for Halo to close out the event and for us to get like that big of an announcement, it's just absolutely amazing. So with that being said, Manny, I know, Chris, you haven't got a chance to play yet, but your first couple hours of Halo Infinite, how's it feeling? You enjoying it?
Bro, man. Before I got on, bro, I was playing this intensive ass match of Capture the Flag, bro. Like, I'm talking about 2-2 tie. We had to go to overtime. That was probably one of my best games because I had like a quick 22 bomb with like, I think 10 deaths. Not the greatest, stat line, but when you're new to the game, it's something to, congratulate yourself with. But I'm enjoying it, man. Like, the way the game feels, it feels great in my opinion. I haven't encountered too many bugs for a beta, for a game that's supposed to come out a month later, but we're experiencing now. So like the fact that we're not getting too much bugs, multiplayer matches have been kicking off relatively quick. It actually feels great. I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad that they did it without any backlash.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, there was like a brief moment there after the event where like I couldn't get in because they didn't push the update out, or if they did push the update out, like there was some server problems there. But I want to say it was probably like a half an hour after the event, maybe a little under that. Like I was able to download it. I was playing. The one thing I had to say, man, like when we played the beta, I was having a hard time getting the controller mode that made me feel the most comfortable. It was like, okay, like I can play, like, for those of you who don't know, I play bumper jumper everything. Any game, any first person shooter that I can get into, like I'm jumping with my left bumper all day because I don't want to take my right thumb off the stick. Like it just works for me. So the bumper jumper in this Halo Infinite is more traditional Halo bumper jumper where you're sprinting with A, I think it is, and then like some of the other controls are a little off. and like I want it to be like like Destiny. Like I want to sprint with left stick. I want to still jump with left bumper and all that stuff. The great thing about this game is that you can remap any button that you want at any point in time. And you don't have to do it through the Xbox. You do it straight in the menu of Halo. So it doesn't like fuck up some of the other games or anything like that. Now, like they had this in the original, like the tech test and all that stuff, but like I couldn't get the right thing down. And today, like it finally happened. Like I got everything down. Coincidentally, I also fixed my Elite controller with some motivation from Manny and our boy Fat Rabbit. So shout out to him. And it's just like, bro, everything just felt perfect, man. I got my fucking Elite controller back. I got the controls right for Halo. I'm out here just oh man, it feels so good, bro. I feel like I'm back in like fucking like freshman year of college where I got myself like Battlefield and I got Halo. I'm missing out on my good Call of Duty though, so you know we'll like taper that to the side. But I remember back in freshman year of college, we had Halo 3, had Battlefield 3 as well. Like it's just a great time, man. Taking me back.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Back when times were simple, man. Well, at least we got Warzone.
Back when times were simple. That's funny.
Oh,
but yo, Chris, you know, I know you're downloading it now, but you know, what's your take on the whole event? The fact that, you know, we're getting this Halo stuff, like what's going on? What do you think?
The biggest thing I could say is just, you know, it just shows a lot of confidence in the product that they've created, you know. I would argue that most games that are on the horizon of the release date start to get closer and closer, and they're like, damn, I wish we had another week or two. But with them doing this, I mean, maybe they're thinking that with the campaign, which I don't think so, but maybe. The fact that they dropped their multiplayer part, though, like, yeah, we're good. We feel like it's good enough. We don't got to worry about anything else. And like you said, they slapped the beta thing on it, but yeah, they're doing that just because they have to. It's not like they're literally looking for us to iron out bugs or anything like that for them anymore. It doesn't seem like. It's just, I don't know. A lot of other games won't do this. COD, I don't think will do this. COD will give you a couple weekends here and there of like the beta testing, but I don't see them releasing their multiplayer almost a month in advance just cause. And yeah, just supreme confidence. That's all I can say. Is just it's good to see. You know, they've been a little down for a little bit, come back with their new thing, and then they're really, really inspired by what they've done, and then they, you know, they're out here. I like it. Not a lot of it. You don't see a lot of other game developers doing this at all, man. Not like how this is being done. So, and I also think it's aside from the confidence factor, this Xbox is getting a lot of W's lately. I gotta be real with you, man. Like it's a lot of W's, but this is one of the bigger ones I would say within the last few months. I know you said you're curious to see the numbers on, you know, the player base or whatever. Well, the numbers I want to see is how many people are out like really trying to force getting an Xbox, you know, Series X or whatever to be able to play this newer game. You know what I mean? Like I want to see if this game finally dropping spikes numbers, even though I don't know if they'd be skewed slightly because I don't know if a lot of things are still backwarded like how they were a few months ago. Like, is it still just as hard to get one now as it was before?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's hard to get them. I've been seeing some things, like some posts online showing like a lot of Series S's sitting in stock. So like Series X is definitely the thing that people are focusing on getting. But I would be curious about how many people are like, all right, fuck it, I can't get an X, I gotta get an S. Halo's out now, let's go. You know, like that's another aspect of it too. Is like, bro, that pushes sales to a completely different standpoint. Like, I know that the Halo like special edition Xbox just came out today too, so there's definitely like a decent amount of people who are rushing out there to get that, and you know, that's great. But yeah, I really want to see like what the people who are waiting until December for when it really hits. Like now that there's like, oh shit, the multiplayer is here. Like I want to see what those numbers look like because. Shit, it's gonna be crazy. And then let's not forget, like this game is also free to play on PC. You know, like that's a whole different thing to factor in now. Like the player count, bro. The player count can look. This could be one of the biggest launches like in gaming history. This could be.
Damn, Activision's punching the air right now. I'm gonna be real with you, like dead ass, because like you said earlier, man, Vanguard's getting some really, really shitty reviews. It's getting dragged pretty bad by a lot of people, and I'm almost positive they were in their heads like, "Yo, well, we got a couple weeks before whatchamacallit comes out, so let's get it right, but we got to get it good before December." And today happens, and you're like, "What?"
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because now it's like you have no breathing room. Now you really got to get your shit together. Because if you don't, like, y'all gonna fuck around and have a lot of your player base be taken away if you don't fucking get your shit right. So it's
Especially for $3.99.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, it's you're right
Game
about
Pass
that, bro.
numbers too. We gotta look at that too. I want to see how many people jumped on Game Pass as soon as this shit hit. I want to see that too. We want to see all these numbers.
Well, it's free to play regardless of Game Pass. So yeah, it's just flat out free to pay. Yeah, play. The campaign is really what you would need to pay for to play, and that's still not to December. So I don't know if that'll push those numbers yet.
Probably not. I didn't realize that.
Well, who knows?
For that.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about it before. There's still a couple more wins for Microsoft to get this year. I mean, the Game Awards is that's a whole nother conversation right there. There's probably about to be some really heavy hitters, right? Especially considering we didn't get any other crazy announcements like outside of the I would call this more like the backwards compatibility stuff and all that, and like the Halo TV show. I would call that more housekeeping. Like these were things that you kind of needed to like talk about because people want more backwards compatibility games, and then people have been clamoring to figure out what the heck is going on with this Halo TV show. So you had to tell us something. Obviously, the Halo Infinite thing is not something that they needed to do, but it was a big W. But we didn't get any updates on any other aspects of Microsoft, right? We didn't get any acquisition talk, any new game teases, not even reflecting on any of the old games that are not old games, but any of the games that were already announced. Like we didn't get anything on Fable or Perfect Dark or anything along those lines. Yeah. So I mean, you'd have to imagine that they're gonna show us a pretty decent amount at the Game Awards. It's already been teased, and so we'll definitely have to wait and see what that looks like. Tomorrow, actually, we're gonna be getting the. It's funny that I said this last week, but literally tomorrow, as of this recording, so Tuesday, we're gonna be getting the Game Awards nominations. Like Jeff Keighley has a whole event set up and all that stuff, so we're definitely getting them. So next week, guys, we're gonna dive into all that stuff. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. We'll talk to you guys again next week. But
pray for Forza.
Bro.
Yeah, I gotta stick that in there.
Yeah,
because I'm
keeping a close eye.
Disappointed when we see this tomorrow. I really am. I don't think they're gonna give it the love.
We'll see. Nah. We'll see. I at this point, bro, anything is possible. So I do think Deathloop is gonna be in that conversation, and I think eventually it may win. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and then of course, we're gonna talk about it next week. We're gonna, like we do, download the content, bring it straight to you. Mm-hmm. So Manny, before we go, take us out of here. Where can the people find you?
You already know. You can find me out in Halo Infinite, Gamer Tag Goodmaster Flex. If you want to stress, we in the Halo verse, you know what I'm saying? Twitch.tv/Goodmaster Flex, of course, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, Goodmaster Flex. Instagram's a little different, Goodmaster Flex _TTV. And that's it, pretty much.
All right. Mr. Pen Pal, where can the people find you, bro?
I don't do pen pals. But y'all can find me at the am I pointing? Too much. There you go.
There you go. You got it.
See it? May 25th, MAY 25 THXX on everything. So yeah.
All right. Thank you. And for me, guys, you can find me at Black Ice 8. You see it right there in the. I'm doing the same, making the same mistake as this guy. See it right there in the bottom corner there at Black Ice 8 everywhere on Xbox, Twitter, twitch.tv/Black Ice 8. The only difference is on the Instagram and the TikTok, it's going to be Black Ice 8 _gaming. And also, guys, make sure to check out the podcast. We're getting some more traction on Twitter, so definitely check us out at XPack Pod on Twitter, at XPack Pod on Instagram, and then on TikTok it's Expansion Pack Podcast. So thank you guys for listening. Again, thank you guys for watching. For those of you who are watching, make sure to like and subscribe. You already know the drill. We will
Peace.
check you guys out next week. Peace.